Groundwater is a really tricky situation. I mean, folks have had to go more towards using groundwater. So overdraft is a huge concern. We're going to have to find other uses for our land. It's going to be a huge challenge. Right now we're on our way. We're going to go see our recharge project that we're partners in. We're partnered with 4 other growers in a recharge project to take surface water and to take water from the creek that flows through here intermittently, and then store that water in the ground and then pull it back out when we get into really difficult times. All this ground out here was farmed. There's been wheat that's grown out here, there's cotton that's grown out here, there's been tomatoes and garlic. All these fields have had a lot of different crops in them over the last 5 years. But with Sigma coming in, we just realized that there's not going to be that opportunity. We're going to have to find a way to repurpose them and utilize them under Sigma. In the years when there's excess water in the system, we'll open up this valve here on this turnout, and we'll hook up pipe, and that pipe will get strung all the way across the field, and we'll open it up and let that water flow out, and then it'll slowly percolate its way into the ground. With the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, SGMA as it's called, we're still going to have quite a bit of land that's going to have to be followed or find another purpose for it, whether that's solar or whether that's additional recharge lands. We're going to have more land than we can farm. Time's going to tell, and I think that's just the uncertainty, right? That makes it so, that causes so much fear for folks that kind of see see what's coming at us right now.
You can say it's an incentive. But certainly it was an effort to really lessen the blow and the realization that a lot of these crops are going to have to be fallowed, land's going to be fallowed. The potential for the San Joaquin Valley to be radically changed through this drought is great. It's significant. It's concerning, especially when you talk about those impacts to San Joaquin Valley. And they're such a huge contributor to the success of California's agriculture. And that's why this bill is important. And that's why we certainly have got to do a lot more.
Start out whole, shell, almond, everything. Then you have the hull, which gets taken off at a huller or a processor. Then you have the shell with the almond inside. So inside of here is the almond.
We're here at the Smith Adobe Ranch. My great-great-granduncle bought the Adobe Ranch with partners in 1887. Today, we still have about 10,500 acres. It's a mixed-use property. It's permanent crops and rangeland. The majority of the ranch is used for grazing cattle. So if portions of our permanent crops were to have to be fallowed, most likely we would use that property for grazing cattle. But I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, because we're only farming roughly 15% of our property. So farming just a fraction of our property it would seem at face value that we're farming consistent with the goals of Sigma. What we're looking at down here is at risk. The majority of what we're looking at, these almonds, having to, stop farming some uncertain amount of the property. It could be, financially devastating. We're not like some of these properties where somebody comes in, they buy a property, they plant it wall to wall, they poke a ton of wells, and they're farming, wall to wall the entire property. They've maxed out their plantable acreage. That's not our approach. We didn't do that. We could have planted a significant amount more acreage, but it just didn't feel like the right thing to do. And I feel like we kind of intuitively farmed within our groundwater budget, so to speak. I think we've planted a reasonable amount of our property. It's just unclear whether we're going to have to fallow tens of acres, hundreds of acres. It's just somewhat unclear. The kind of unregulated Wild West of groundwater pumping, people essentially putting straws into the ground and pulling water out, this kind of Wild West that's occurred over the last 20 plus years, the party's over, so to speak.